so it is me. I wanted to come on here and let you know about the book that I just read. I read Atmosphere. I read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am reading it off my notes here because I do not have a physical copy. It was an ebook. So, I started that. It is a historical fiction. It is a cosmic book. It is about romance as well. And the main character is Joan Goodwin, and it is just like a novel circling in that around her. So, let's get on to it. So, it is a 337 page. No trigger warnings. No, unless you like to cry. Okay, so Joan, she is the main character. Her sister is, oh, why did I keep forgetting her sister's name? Okay, Barbara. So her sister's name is Barbara, and Barbara had a kid. So her kid's name is Frances, and she is single parent. So Joan, of course, is being the good sister. So Joan, sorry, the dogs got all crazy. So Joan is being the good sister of Barbara, and she takes care of, like, Frances from time to time. So Frances is a little girl, and she's been there in like the delivery room. She's been there helping her. She takes her on the weekend so mama could go and get some time alone. So a lot is happening in between there with that family. Joan always loved the stars, the sky, cosmic. She loves anything with space. And I don't know why my eye is going small. Joan is a teacher right now, and so she applies to go and go up into space. So she gets accepted into this space program, and they have a lot to tell you about space. So a lot of star terms and space terms, everything like that. If you hear the squeaky toy in the background, it's because the dog is playing. So anyways, Barbara got married to a guy, Daniel. And right away, he tells her he does not want kids. And Joan is like, well, why are you even going and being with him? So that is like a red flag for them first off. So she's like, you have a kid. Why are you with him? What are you going to do with your kid? Well, they end up putting the daughter into boarding school. And on Thanksgiving, everyone was supposed to be coming home, and Joan phones up Frances, and she's like, happy Thanksgiving, how are you? And Frances is crying, and she's like, I'm here by myself, but it's okay, I'm with another teacher. She's not my main teacher, so it's okay. We're going to have Thanksgiving sandwiches with cranberry. And Joan right away was like, no, this is not happening. So she phones up Barbara, and they have she saw Barbara. I think it was she saw her, or maybe she phoned her. But anyway, they talk it out and that, and Barbara's like, you think you could do better? You know, one of those sisters. You think you could do better? Even though Joan was the one that was her number one supporter throughout the whole life of Frances. So she just gets mad, and she's like, well, I was going to leave her in boarding school. We're going to take off to this other town. Daniel has a job down there. So basically, they were just going to leave the daughter in boarding school and kind of take off. So Joan is like, that's not happening. You don't leave your daughter in boarding school. You're supposed to be a parent. And she's down there by herself crying like she thinks that nobody loves her. You put her into this school for nothing. And Joan is like really stepping up and speaking up for Frances, which is good. So then Barbara's like, you could do better. And she's like, yeah, like, if it comes down to that, let's get it done. So Barbara signs a sheet saying, like, yes, she could have the say in it. She could take Frances out of school, blah, blah, blah. So right away, Joan goes cruising down there, goes and gets Frances, and she's like, you're coming home with me. We'll explain in the car. So she explains it to her that she's going to stay with her for a while. And, of course, Frances is excited. She's happy that somebody loves her and somebody wants her. And so then Joan is like, now I can't go up into space for different missions because I'll be gone for long periods of time. So she has to go talk to the boss, and she wants to be like in the command center where you're talking on the phone to the pilots and space drivers or whatever. I forgot what the term was that they used. Sorry, not very good at space. So anyway, she applies for that, and meanwhile she was talking and going out with Vanessa. This is like, I think, her first girlfriend thing. So they were in a relationship here and there. They would hang out with Francis. Francis liked her. So Vanessa got picked to go up into space, and she's up there. I'm not going to tell you too much, but something happens on this mission. And everyone's dead on the spaceship besides Vanessa. So, of course, Joan is the one that has to talk her down. And she's like, hey, you have to do this. You have to do this. Could you do this? Like, guiding her so she could come back down to Earth. And then Vanessa's like, I don't care who hears this. Like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy that's beside her is like, tell her what you need to tell her. So Joan just blurts out everything like, oh, I liked you, blah, blah, blah. So I don't want to give you too much details in between because it is a good read. So I want you to read it and feel your own emotions. But the guy beside her just let her on the phone or walkie-talkie, whatever they're using, to talk to them up in space, just to tell what she needs to tell. And something happens and they have to get her down. She's the only one in that spaceship. So does she make it? Does she not? Do they have a life after this? Like, what is happening? So you have to read it. But it pulled a lot of heartstrings in this book. Like, I was not expecting it. I'm not a kind of person that likes romance and all these tearjerker books, but this one actually pulled your heartstrings. It was a good book. And good description, a lot about space, and it was a good read. I give it a 3.5 because the timeline bounced all over the place, and then at the end of the story it kind of made sense, but when you're first reading it, you're like, oh wait, I thought we were up in space. Oh, now we're back into Barbara having a kid. Oh no, now Joan is over here doing schooling or doing space stuff, and she's going out with Vanessa. Like, the timeline jumps over, but it did make sense in the end. So if you like that kind of stuff, you will like this book. It does have romance, so you will like it as well. So 3.5. Yeah, it was pretty good. Go ahead, read it. You'll like it. Hello. So I want to tell you about A Terra Triptych Austera. I probably said that wrong. This one was a ARC book review that I did. The author is Casey Fallon. I did give it a 3.5 out of 5. I do have all my notes written down here, so I don't forget to tell you guys anything since I read so many books in between. So this one was a horror, fantasy, paranormal thriller. This one, the main character is Mara, and it is, I think, the book 3. This one had 120 pages, so it was a one single sit down. You could read it, get it done. Trigger warnings are suicide, violence, and death. So what happens here in this story? Mara goes back to her hometown because her grandma died, and she goes and stays into the home that her grandmother and she grew up in, okay? So when she was at 16, she had left that town, and she went to Denmark. Her grandmother's name is Alice. I'm sorry, I'm bad at names. So everyone seemed to know who Mara was, and they all kept telling her she needs to plant and tend to the seeds in the circle that her grandmother had on her property, and it was like rocked all around it. So let me see. She keeps telling them that she has a friend of her grandmother. Oh, her grandmother's friend gave her like a burlap sack of seeds, and she was like, what the heck? So she's supposed to go plant these seeds in the one with the rocks, and it's like a round garden with rocks around, and that's the garden that she's supposed to do, not like the private kind of food garden that's in between. So I guess there's a shed, there's the regular garden, and then there's the special garden. Okay, so Mara starts walking. She was going to go and plant these seeds. She's halfway and ends up throwing it in the regular garden, or throws them, and they end up kind of by the garden and by the shed. So yeah, that happened. Let's see. She went out to plant blah blah blah. So this garden is a special garden. It offers growth, blood, seeds. This monster root. There's a monster in the ground thing, and its roots are like alive. Let me see. Named Bran. Oh, so the monster did take this guy named Bram. But in return, they promised to keep the land fertile, no plagues, no droughts, and that the village would survive. So that was the promise that little weird garden thing gave to them, because they sacrificed a guy named Bram. So, Rootmen, they were real. And they weren't something that Mara was dreaming. It was, this little garden had rootmen, and they are not so good, I guess. So garden is always blooming and it gives, but not for free. You will find out what it wants from you after it is too late to keep it. So scents are stranger at night. So at nighttime you could smell different smells. They are stronger at night, they say. So what is that about? Scents are stronger at night. In spring, the earth wakes. During this time, you could watch, prepare, and respect it. So something beneath the soil is waiting, and beneath the mud, and carves into bones. Oh, let me see. And what we think of as dead, bone-eating worms, Osedax. And then there's kind of like this other part of it that Rowan finds worms all over a whale carcass, and he thinks that they're bone-eating worms. So he is trying to take like a picture. So he's leaning into this whale, trying to take a picture. And of course, the whale has been sitting there for a while. He leans, and then like the carcass falls apart. So he lands forward, and he falls into it. Worms all over him. So he goes running with his scuba dooba. He runs into the water with his suit on. He's trying to undo the string, and those scuba sets have like that big long string back here. So he's trying to rip it off. He pulls it. He's halfway down. He's trying to pull it down, and he looks down, and there's all these worms from inside his suit and everything. So then he could feel like the sea floor pulsed with worms and slid over his feet and calves, and the worms fed. Dun, dun, dun. Also, there's another part that has Alec and Coda, and they were on a boat, and they could hear like munching or noises, and then they saw like the white and red worms. So they saw them burrowed into the hull, like I guess the front of the boat. And all the crew members started having worms attacking and crawling inside them, inside their body. They did have 10 men on the boat, and only 6 made it onto the life raft. Dun, dun, dun. So the other ones that were on the boat, of course, they were devoured by worms. They had a warning on the news to stay away from the shore. There was a dog outside when they made it back to the land from the life raft. So they made it to this house, and then they had a dog that had to go outside. They let the dog outside. It's raining, it's pouring, it's yucky outside. And then this dog comes inside, and he's full of worms. So they try to get him for a bath, and then after they're like, ooh, we might have to cut his hair because they might be under the fur. So they had this stuff that was called, where did I write it? Diatom aceous. It is earth, a sharp dirt. So they used some of it to rub all over the dog. And then they thought that there might be some more down in the basement. So Sierra, she went downstairs to go and see if there was more of it. She thought she saw some on a shelf. She was trying to climb the shelf, trying to get this dirt bag. I guess it's like a bag or something of dirt. So I'm thinking in my head it's like a big black soil for like the garden with sharp points, maybe glass in there, I don't know. So she goes to climb the shelf to get some. The shelf falls down on her. She's laying there, and then worms start crawling all over her. They were covered in tiny worms, bloodworms, and are on him. They're venomous. So they used the dirt. The shelf fell, and worms were crawling all over. So yeah, same what my notes just said. See, dun, dun, dun. So that was like kind of like three kind of stories into one somehow. Like put it all together. So I did get this a 3.5 out of 5 because I was interested in this first one, and then all of a sudden we were talking about this whale with worms and that, and I'm like, okay, well, what happened about this other garden thing? Like, I want to know more about the garden. And then we were talking a little bit about the whale, but we didn't go in very much detail, just that this guy was in the water, took his scuba suit off, and then started getting, like, basically eaten alive. And I want to know more about that. And then it skips down to the dog with the worms on him, and she goes downstairs, and, like, every time you got invested into the story, you're like, hey, now we're on to a new one. So I want just a big, long one of this little story. So it was kind of like 3 little baby stories at once. They do have those words. I said them probably all wrong, but it's okay if you go ahead, go get that, and you could read it yourself. It was good, but it was just every time I got interested, it stopped. What is going on? But that one was a ARC book review, so I hope you like it. You go on there and go find it and enjoy it. Thank you. Hello. So I'm doing Beneath the House of Usher. It is an ARC book. Lots of sex. This one is by Erifka Bonix. Oh, I probably said that one wrong too. It's a romance suspense. Book type is 2 parts of a series. It is a 436 page. There is a lot of triggers in this book. Probably all the triggers you could think of. This book has it. Okay? So there is abuse, evil, blood, child abuse, sex, cutting, dealing with the devil, erotic, rage, rape, gore, gun violence, mafia, suicide, and torture. There was a lot more. I just didn't write every single one. But those were like the main ones. So I'm going to read you it from my notes right here. So, bound to the Usher house by a promise sealed in blood, when the man you loved is swallowed into darkness, to save the man you loved descend into the abysses. I open. Should I surrender myself to the Usher house? Some lovers are eternal, and some are paid in blood. Mansion is decaying and suffocating in silence. There is something inside that I cannot escape. And there are these 2 brothers there that had bad, sinister, and seductive. Ooh, a dog just farted. I thought I could survive in the house of the dead. The house is evil, and I am just a possession to them. The house collapses. Will I be killed? So that's a little blurby about that. What did I write that? Did I tell you guys? I didn't even write that. So I am going to give it a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. It was a good book. It was a little bit long, but it is a part of a series. So, and there was a lot of sex. So basically this house is evil. This girl is there. There's these 2 possessions, one good, kind of, one bad. And then things are happening. This girl's there. Bad things are happening to her. And then the house starts falling and collapsing. Does she die? Does the house squish her? Does the brothers get her? What is going to happen? This one was a ARC book for me. So I did review that as well. So, yeah, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Yes.